How's life?
I see. And why are you so interested in my life?
Oh, just we chat.
About what?
Various topics like asking people how they are, boosting their mood.
Got it. Which country did you pick?
Well, to support Ukraine, we're all about no negativity.
Go ahead and support. I'm listening to your support.
Are you from Ukraine?
I'm from Ukraine, hearing your support.
How are you?
We're holding on. We're fighting.
So it's really serious for you, right? Like extremely serious.
Do you follow the news at all?
We don't trust you on that.
Yeah, because there's so much fake news.
What don't you believe that there are large-scale military actions happening?
That the people are so hostile towards each other.
Which people are hostile towards each other?
Russia, Ukraine.
Well, people are saying, aren't they, that the Russians are coming and killing innocent civilians, innocent people.
Indeed, there is a war waging on. In Izium, yes, in Bucha, and also in Mariupol. Cities destroyed.
And what do you think?
In Zaporizhia, a residential complex was hit. Residential buildings.
Unbelievable. What are your thoughts on the recent referendum that just happened?
This is not a referendum. That circus holds absolutely no significance for anyone, not even for Russia. It's completely meaningless.
Holy crap. I mean, I watched all of that unfold and everything just seemed so official, like everyone was so happy saying they'd waited 8 years.
Your television broadcasts beautiful, very high quality content. Specifically for you, so that you would believe it. And it is working for them.
So it's all just a bluff?
What exactly?
Well, all of this stuff. Referendums.
Referendums are not conducted during an occupation. When the Russian army arrives and annihilates cities, what kind of referendum could possibly take place? Based on which law, Ukrainian or Russian?
But there are still some people remaining who actually feel quite normal about it,
Russia, yeah.
No one sees Russia in a good light. As for Russians themselves, one might still view them somewhat favorably if they support Ukraine. But Russia as a country? No one does. It is an aggressor state, a terrorist entity.
But what are your thoughts? Do you think some kind of nuclear war will start?
I don't know. I hope not. But it could happen.
Well, our television, claims that Ukraine is merely a go-between, serving as a mediator between America and Russia, essentially.
Well, then just attack America directly. You don't need a middleman. Why involve one? When you kiss your boyfriend, do you need some kind of middleman?
No.
No. If Russia is at war with the West, you're only 3.6 kilometers from Alaska across the Bering Strait. Fight them directly over there, don't you think?
Ah.
That's the closest point.
Yes, it's truly awful, of course. But I think people really just want peace among themselves. And then there are the politicians.
Which people desire peace? Peace truly comes about only as a result of either victory or defeat.
But we used to get along.
What?
We used to get along.
We used to live in peace. Now we're at war. The war must conclude with either a triumph or a surrender. Only then will there be peace for a period of time. What did you ask?
So sad.
How did this all start?
Yeah, this all started because of the politicians.
No. Politicians carry out the will of the people. According to your constitution, you are citizens of Russia, the power belongs to you, and your government executes your will. Therefore, if your government initiated military actions against Ukraine, it signifies that they are carrying out the will of the Russian people. The people of Russia truly desire to conquer Ukraine, and their government is carrying out that will.
Well, it's not always like that. If it were, of course.
It's not always? It's always like that.
Well, if our government carried out our will, our country would have been much better off a long time ago.
This, then, is precisely the will of your people. Your people do not wish to live peacefully with their neighbors. Your people desire to fight. Your people couldn't care less about the internal issues of the Russian Federation. and thus your government truly reflects the will of your people.
All right, let's just say, if you're asserting that our government, to put it mildly, is pulling the wool over our eyes, feeding us lies. But what's the likelihood that you are not being deceived, in your opinion?
About what exactly? What is it that we are being deceived about? The fact that the Russian army has started the occupation of part of Ukraine? Everything is visible from satellites now. Do you understand? Your troops are on our land. What purpose do they serve here?
And here's another question.
No, hold on. You're jumping from one topic to another. What are we being deceived about? Are there no Russian troops in Ukraine? No, they are definitely there. They are right there. So what exactly are they doing there?
Russians don't kill Ukrainian civilians.
Russians are not killing the civilian population of Ukraine. Just look at any telegram channel. Yesterday, Zaporizhzhia, its residential buildings and multi-story structures were shelled. A whole district in Kharkiv has been destroyed. Many streets and homes in a place called Northern Saltivka. Just type Northern Saltivka into a search engine, and you will see tens of thousands of videos and photos there. My niece resides in Northern Saltivka, in the city of Kharkiv, and she's the one sending these photographs. She was lucky. Only bullets or shrapnel hit, well, the windows on her balcony, and that's it. But for the neighbors, it hit right in their apartment. The apartment's gone. She was lucky.
F it.
And you think that Ukrainians are deceiving you?
No, we don't think Ukrainians are deceiving us. We think your government might also be deceiving you about some things, not telling the whole story.
Specifically?
About the military actions you don't know.
Which ones? You're speaking in generalities. If you were to say precisely how our government is deceiving us, I'd be happy to discuss it with you, and we could figure out the exact specifics.
Even just speaking in general terms.
What general terms? That's just empty talk. What exactly? Are we not at war with Russia?
No, it's happening, that's a fact.
It is? In what way?
Why did our military personnel end up there? It's simply because when Crimea was incorporated by us, you see.
And how did it become part of you? By what means did it actually join you?
What year was that? 2014.
In 2014, the Russian army began its occupation of Crimea.
Well, everyone has their own take.
Their own take? Read the international documents. Don't you have internet access or access to the UN website? Or do you just couldn't care less about the UN? What?
I believe your government is holding back a lot from you. It's not going to tell you everything.
What exactly?
I don't know what exactly you know.
Well then, why are you talking nonsense? Excuse me, young lady, for using that phrase. What exactly is it they're not telling us?
We're just curious. See, a friend of mine is serving in Ukraine, as a contract soldier, and he says that there are a bunch of NATO installations there. So it's like not the Russians.
Yes, absolutely, unequivocally.
NATO?
Of course, NATO, American, and British weapons. Indeed, we legitimately acquire weaponry from the United States and Great Britain. European nations provide us with arms free of charge because the Russian Federation initiated an attack against us. Our armed forces are lawfully deployed, and NATO weapons are rightfully in our possession. So what exactly is a Russian soldier doing on our sovereign territory?
Because as we were informed, Ukraine had moved its military forces right up to the Russian border.
Have you even seen Ukraine and Russia on a map?
Yes.
And you really think Ukraine would attack Russia, right?
Well, it's all going through America, the fact that America, the black...
What's coming through America? Look at the size of your country, 1/6 of the world's landmass compared to Ukraine's mere 600,000 square kilometers. Ukrainians have a firing range of up to 100 kilometers. We have the Tochka U, and your cruise missiles can go 2,500 kilometers. You are striking Ukraine with cruise missiles that are being launched from submarines in the Caspian Sea. And so, Ukraine, with a firing range of merely 100 kilometers, somehow presented a threat to you, but Russia, which possesses cruise missiles capable of traveling 2,500 kilometers, somehow poses absolutely no threat to Ukraine.
It's just so upsetting, really. You wish none of this was happening. On my mom's side,
Are you actively participating in protests? You're just sitting in a car talking to me right now instead of demonstrating against the war. Huh?
it's not 10 p.m. for us.
You can go out tomorrow morning.
We have work.
You can go out on the weekend.
Even if we...
Our soldiers are dying, and here you are telling me we're being deceived.
No, it's just that if we go out, let's say, even just the two of us, we'll get rounded up real quick.
And they'd be right to do it, because your society wants to be at war with Ukraine.
So sad.
Personally, maybe you don't want to. But your acquaintances are happily fighting in Ukraine as contract soldiers. But you just mentioned that you have an acquaintance who is a contract soldier fighting in Ukraine. He wants to fight against Ukraine. He wants to earn money from it.
Well, for us? Or rather, he has no choice.
Oh, no choice. Is he mobilized or a contract soldier? Do you understand the difference between mobilized and a contract soldier? A contract soldier is a person who himself wishes to go to war and fight.
He was a contract soldier at first.
Well, you have tens of thousands of those, if not millions, who want to fight as contract soldiers.
All right, we should probably get going. We need to head to work now. You guys stay strong over there, all right?
Well, we're staying strong. We've taken back 5 regions.
Okay, all the best to you. Most importantly, health and patience.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
What, sweet girls? They're not telling us something. What?
How are you doing?
Thanks to you. What's on your mind?
About life, just life.
How's your life?
It's perfectly fine. I have a child on the way. I have a wife.
That's wonderful. Meanwhile, yesterday, 2 Iranian drones, which you buy from Iran, flew into my city and hit 4 civilian targets.
That's a tough topic.
Bad topic? Why?
Which
country did you choose?
Neither.
You chose all countries?
I don't choose. Oh, you mean in the chat?
Right.
I have all countries.
Do you have any specific questions for Ukrainians?
Yes, I'd like to ask a few questions.
I'm listening. I'll answer if able.
Well, look, we are told in Russia that the Russian language and Russian-speaking individuals are oppressed in Ukraine. Is that truly the case?
What exactly do you mean by oppress? Do we shoot them in the streets? Do we tape their mouths shut? What exactly are you referring to?
I'm not entirely sure in what specific context that statement is made.
Then I don't understand your question.
But mass media says so.
Well, for example, the mass media tells me the earth is flat, but I don't believe it.
Okay, and let's say, is there neo-Nazism in your country?
It is like any country. You also have neo-Nazis. Rogozin, ex-Roscosmos head, is a Russian neo-Nazi. That doesn't bother us. Oh, right. Look up Rogozin doing the Nazi salute on the internet. In his youth, he was in a neo-Nazi group. In your St. Petersburg, global neo-Nazi leaders are gathering, and you aren't even aware of it. However, you assert that neo-Nazism is only present in Ukraine.
So the question is, but the reverse is true, and I ask myself then, what is the purpose of this war?
Go ahead and ask your leadership that question.
You understand that it's pointless to ask these questions.
Is it pointless? Have you read your own constitution?
Exactly what?
Exactly the part that says power belongs to the people, in your republic called the Russian Federation. And the government carries out your will.
Yeah, right.
It's your will to be at war with Ukraine, your personal will.
I'm personally not going there to Ukraine or, in Ukraine. I realize I'm saying it incorrectly, and I have no intention of taking up arms.
Did you receive a mobilization notice?
I did.
You did. And?
I paid a 3,000 fine.
And you got off with just a small fine?
Duh. Not yet.
Well, that's good. That's reassuring.
However, I had a bit of a disagreement with the military commissar there, you know. They called for me, I showed up, and they tried to give me another draft notice, but I expressed my position quite firmly. I said, well, guys, my grandmother is Ukrainian, you know? How can I go and kill Ukrainians, and why would I need to do that?
What did he say?
He said, your grandpa's fought Nazis. I asked, are there any? He said, yes. I said, I don't know, I haven't seen it.
They're all around.
No, the Nazis are there.
They're in power.
Well, what kind of people are implied again, among the common populace, regular folks? Yes, I actually have many Ukrainian acquaintances, you know, around Lviv. And in Kiev, I have a number of athlete friends. Yes, I certainly do. I'm an athlete myself. I have athlete friends from Ukraine. And I haven't seen any Nazis there, you know, doing the Nazi salute or anything else of that kind.
I'm telling you again, there are neo-Nazis everywhere. The question is whether there are neo-Nazis in power in Ukraine. Well, are you being told that neo-Nazis are in power or not? Or are they just saying neo-Nazis?
Essentially, they refer to them as Nazis. But then the question arises, how can someone Jewish actually be a Nazi?
I don't know either. We have a Jewish president and a Jewish prime minister.
Very interesting. Yes, I agree with you.
You live in such an interesting country. By the way, how much was the fine you paid?
3,000 rubles.
How much is that in dollars? I'm not good with rubles.
Oh, the dollar has dropped now. Well, let's say it's about $5.
So roughly $60. That's nothing.
I agree. I completely agree. But it's not worth having that sin on your conscience.
I agree with you. They haven't slapped you with a criminal charge yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet. I see. What region of Russia do you live in?
Krasnoyarsk, Siberian Federal District.
That's quite a ways out, I get it. Is that the one heated by coal in the winter? I see. Isn't it peculiar that your enormous city is still heated by coal, despite having natural gas fields located right next to it?
No, our gas fields aren't exactly close by. Our gas and oil fields are located in Norilsk, Dudinka, and, well, those sorts of places, you see. But for us, it's very... Hold on, where is that for us? Nazarovsky district, we have a significant amount of coal production, and it's more economically beneficial to deliver coal rather than...
It's economically advantageous to pollute the population with coal fumes, and going to war with Ukraine is also very advantageous. I understand.
Waging war with Ukraine is not viable.
How's it not?
Well, for the authorities, it's profitable. But for the ordinary population, it's not.
How is it not viable? The populace rejoices at Russia's territorial expansion.
It was wrong of me to... No, excuse me, of course, but when I was told that I had to go fight for the motherland, I asked, what is my motherland? My motherland ends at the border with Rostov and Krasnodar Krai. Somewhere around there, Belgorod. Yes, that is my motherland. But I said, no one attacked it. Let's start with that. And whatever was annexed over there, that's your problem. It's not my problem.
Oh, how interesting. And Crimea?
Crimea is for Crimeans, Tatar Crimeans.
Crimean Tatars. Uh-huh. And Krasnoyarsk people?
Incidentally, there was a General Lebed. He was a very strong proponent of this specific idea that Krasnoyarsk should become a republic. Not Krasnoyarsk Krai, but an independent republic.
Well, those are your internal problems. I'm not interested. What you're rooting for there, what I'm interested in is your army getting off my territory. And for Crimea, which belongs to the Crimeans, to be returned to Ukraine.
Well, it's just that, you see, I was in Crimea not too long ago. And I spoke with people, with different kinds of people.
So you were also violating the legislation of Ukraine.
Why would I have broken Ukrainian law?
This is because under Ukrainian law, entry into the territory of Crimea is strictly permitted only from the mainland of Ukraine. Individuals who enter Crimea, either by crossing the Crimean Bridge or arriving by air, are infringing upon Ukrainian legislation. Consequently, you are no different from the majority of your fellow countrymen. And the fact that you paid $60, you just got really lucky with that.
In fact, I traveled right through Ukraine. I drove from Kiev. My friends had invited me to a training camp. I used to visit and train with your athletes.
Aha, and what year was that?
That was in 2018.
Aha, that makes sense.
Everything was legal.
So, you were in Crimea, you questioned the population there, and they were extremely delighted about the annexation to Russia.
Not exactly. No, that's not what I meant to say.
What did you mean to say?
Not everyone is pleased, not everyone is thrilled, not everyone is happy, not everyone is pleased.
But most are happy?
No.
No? The majority of Crimeans aren't happy about Russia?
No.
You're the first on chatroulette I've seen like you.
You think, aha, you genuinely believe that we just went in and occupied Crimea? Well, occupied Crimea.
They're 100% occupiers. What's there to ponder?
I don't think. I'm telling you how it is. We occupied Crimea. Okay, right? And people were just, and they were like, wow, great, you've occupied us. We're so glad you've accepted us into Russia. No, that's not true.
I have family in Crimea in the Crimean mountains. I have a good acquaintance, well, she used to be a good friend of mine. A good acquaintance with whom I stayed in Crimea. She's absolutely delighted about Russia's arrival.
Well, that's quite surprising because some friends of mine who visited not too long ago, right after the Crimean Bridge was constructed, had their tires punctured. I don't think they love Russians that much.
Great, good. That truly makes me happy. Puncturing the tires of an occupier is a perfectly good thing, and I find joy in that. What could possibly be wrong with such an act?
Why happy?
Because puncturing an occupier's tires is an appropriate and effective action.
Okay, in that case, permit me to pose a counter-question. Why, during the annexation of Crimea, did your government do absolutely nothing?
Why did they allow the occupation, or what's the point of the question?
Yes, why did they allow the annexation of Crimea? Why was no action taken?
There was action, but there are many factors.
No action? I personally occupied.
There was.
I personally occupied Crimea, and I have a medal for the annexation of Crimea.
What? Again?
I personally have a medal for the annexation of Crimea. I was a conscript back then, and they just sent us there against our will.
All right, so what now? Let me explain it to you. Look at your military operation. I'm telling you. Well, you asked a question, and I want to answer that your military operation actually started on February 20th, 2014. That is precisely what is depicted on your medal, assuming you have actually bothered to look at it.
I've seen it.
Right, and you've held it in your hands. So, accordingly, on the night of the 26th, Special Operations Forces in Simferopol seized the Parliament building and the government building of the Autonomous Republic of Crimea. At that precise moment, we had no president. We were experiencing absolute political chaos. Our higher leadership didn't know what to do in that particular situation. The National Security and Defense Council was then established, with Turchinov as its head. This document was published by Turchinov himself, and it raised the question, what should we do in this situation, with Russians streaming into Crimea? Turchinov was the only one who voted to open fire on you. Everyone else, however, stated, we cannot fire upon them. They are our brethren. We haven't even ascertained what exactly they are doing here at this moment. The higher leadership was in a state of chaos and shock. Now let's go down to the level of the soldiers in Crimea. Our army's recruitment followed the principle of where you were born, there you served. In other words, you serve in the place of your birth. And in Crimea, the soldiers serving there were mostly residents of Crimea, who had never considered the Russians to be their enemies. And when Russian soldiers come up to him and point their weapons at him, he also experiences psychological shock. And he had not been given an order to open fire on you. However, based on the military service charter, he certainly should have opened fire on you. Yet no one fired upon you. We lost a single serviceman during that military operation. Thus, I'm clarifying the situation for you. The higher leadership was truly in shock. Subsequently, the decision was made that we would undoubtedly lose Crimea. This was due to the fact that at its peak we had a maximum of 6, 8, or perhaps 12,000 military personnel stationed in Crimea. According to the agreement, you had more than 20,000 stationed in various locations within Crimea. And on top of that, about the same number were being transferred over. Therefore, in such a situation, it becomes almost impossible to conduct defensive combat operations effectively. So we would have lost Crimea anyway in that, well, purely military situation. You understand the balance of power. But a significant portion of the civilian population also would have perished, because the southern coast of Crimea, in particular, is densely populated. If combat operations had taken place in its cities, similar to what's happening now in eastern Ukraine, we would have still lost Crimea, and a vast number of innocent civilians would have been killed. Therefore, the combined effect of these factors essentially resulted in Crimea being abandoned by Ukraine.
I have one more question, the last one, if I may ask it now. Now, let's consider the situation regarding 2014 and the Donbas conflict. I mean, when the Donbas conflict started and they declared they wanted to be a separate republic.
Listen, the Donbas conflict didn't just declare itself.
Why not? But it...
What?
People said...
Said by whom?
Then there were these Minsk negotiations that took place.
My friend, the Minsk agreements, they happened on September 1st. You really should set the time code according to the proper dates. That was September 1st. And Gherkin entered there in April. 52 Russian servicemen under Gherkin's leadership captured Sloviansk. What kind of local population are you referring to there? Of course, there was a segment of the local population that is universally referred to as collaborators in all history textbooks. Certainly your dormant cells within the Donbas conflict area, they undoubtedly supported Gherkin's incursion. Who was really discussing what exactly? What local populace are you referring to? Just some elderly women with placards? No, Russian forces went in there.